Well, Josh, we have had a change of the rules. Finally, thank God someone had some common sense and decided to take away the 12-6 elbow that miraculously made it into the unified rules. Back in 2001, I tried to stop it. It didn't happen. But it is gone, kaput. And also, we will have a new grounded fighter rule that will take place November 1st of 2024 to give fighters a little bit of time and to give the regulators a little bit of time to get used to it and get it all in their books and everything. But rule changes are a good thing when there are stupid rules that are still part of our sport.
I just want to see knees to a grounded opponent. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen. I wish it would too.
John,
I actually do. I think that, it keeps people from hiding. Mm-hmm. It doesn't allow them to do certain things that, they can do to hide in the fight right now. But to try to explain to a regulator that, look, all the regulator sees is all I'm going to have is knockouts due to knees to the head on the ground. You try to explain to them, you will not. You're not going to see it that often. It's not going to be, the fighters adjust to it. It's not going to be that big of a thing. But they think it will be.
Yeah. These are the same people that don't know what a headbutt is. So I don't want to have this conversation again. Look, I'm 100% on board with the 12-6 thing. Let me ask you this, though. You still can't elbow the top of the head, or you can? So like 12-6 standing now, I can just jump up and
top
come
of the head?
Straight down? Okay.
Yeah, right on the top of the head. You can't hit the back of the head.
So is that from the crown back?
From the crown back here, all the way forward. It's all good. Go after it. Beat the shit out of that thing.
Got it. So now they can do it against the fence. So standing, just come up, boom.
Dude, Stefan Struve has a new career.
Jeez, man. This is brutal. John, this is going to be brutal. You want to know why? Because there's going to be a lot more cuts now.
There might be.
And actually, that rule 100% favors the taller fighter.
It might be.
That's some BS right there. I don't know.
That is your fault for being vertically challenged.
Yes, it is. It actually my parents' fault, but I blame them and my grandparents and my great
all of them, the entire heritage.
Blaming all of them. Yeah. I'm excited for this rule change. What I am more excited about is the actual grounded opponent thing. This 12-6 thing should have been changed years ago. I'm glad they finally got their shit together and did it. But the whole grounded opponent thing I think is going to be a good thing because we've talked about it before. One of the fights that I saw with Mokaev, right? He plays that little game where he sits kind of like in, I call it an Asian squat. He sits kind of in that little squat and he likes to put his hand down, up and down, up and down. So we've seen this in several fights, and then a lot of fighters have been doing it a lot more lately. It was then the bearing of the weight, then it was just the fingers, then it was, I think it went to a hand and a knee had to be down. Was that what?
No, it ended up where, if you wanted to have it, you had to put both hands down. So we're telling you, don't do that. That's stupid. Put one knee down. Now it's a matter of, doesn't matter if your hands and feet are touching the ground. And it's possible you could see someone getting kneed to the head or punted to the face if they can put their hands down there because they are free to be hit. If you want to be a grounded fighter, it is any part of your body besides your hands or feet touching the ground. So your knee touches the ground, you're a grounded fighter. Your butt touches the ground, your back touches the ground, your elbow touches the ground. You're all grounded. But it's not that bullshit position that you can use to keep someone from being able to attack you just by taking your hand and putting your fingers down on the mat.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
So my next question is, this is the new unified rules, correct?
Yes.
Now, are we unified across all the states now?
Yes, they're supposedly unified across the states with this rule. This rule will go into effect.
And the 12-6?
And the 12-6.
Okay. Now, what about other countries?
Other countries, well, if they're going to follow the unified rules, then this would be part of what they're following.
Okay. Now, how do we know if they're going to follow the unified rules? Like, what countries over there?
You don't. You can look and you can say, well, Japan Ryzen sometimes follows the unified rules. Sometimes they follow the old Pride rules, a little bit varied now, but a lot more of the Pride rules. Knees to the head of a grounded fighter. One uses knees to the head of a grounded fighter. So they use what they call the global set of rules, and
Ryzen allows you to negotiate the rules based on each fight. So when I went over there and fought, we got to negotiate. I want to do three rounds, and I want to do a 10 round and a 10-minute round and a 5-minute round. They allow you to negotiate, which is kind of fun and interesting. Like, sure, stomps to the head, cool, we're down with that. Soccer kicks, cool, we're down with that. I basically said, go ahead and do it all.
That 10-minute round sounds really good until you're in the middle of that
7 minutes in.
That's it.
You're like, damn, 3 more minutes is a long time.
Why did I allow this? But
so funny. Trying to explain to your kid that 3 minutes is not a long time.
The real thing is, I don't know if you've seen, but Jon Jones has now put out a little tweet there saying, Uncle Dana, can we get my loss, taken away now? I look at it and go, it never ends, man. It never ends.
No, it doesn't end, because then it comes down to, like, what about the fighters that got DQ'd by the knee to a down opponent for their hand being down, not being down? Yeah. We're not taking those away.
No. It all comes down to, I say to this simple thing. Look, because you got a ticket for driving above the speed of 55 on a road, and then they changed the speed to 65, 2 years later, they're not going to give you your money back.
That would be nice, though.
It ain't happening, dude. So, you broke the rules when that was the rules. That's just the way it is. I don't think they're going to change it.
Well, you got to think, right? What about all those people that got convicted for marijuana charges? Now marijuana's legal in a lot of states.
Yeah.
Like, they've got to be thinking, man, I wasted years of my life, and because I broke the law. I mean, would Dana be able to help him with any of that? I'm just speaking, like, would the commissions consider changing that?
At this point, I don't think so. For years I've said that's a bullshit loss. And I've said they should change it, but they won't. You take a look, and it was a call that they felt that the referee was following the rule set and could make that call. He did, and they're not going to. At this point, how many years later? When was that damn fight?
That fight was in like 2005 or 6 or something like that.
Dude, I want to say that fight was somewhere around 2009 or 10.
I thought it was like 6, somewhere around 2006, 2007.
It might have been.
Yeah.
It might have been.
It seemed a long time ago.
It's a long time. That many years later, are they going to switch it? No.
So you went and told the commissions that they probably should have switched it because it was bullshit. Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, I told them that I thought it should be overturned based upon the reason I'm saying it is not because of the technique that was used. That was fine, but you stopped the fight, and the injury to the fighter had nothing to do with the foul. The injury was done off of a legal throw. He separated Matt Hamill's shoulder, so the separation of the shoulder had nothing to do with the elbow. So how are you going to give him a loss when the injury that keeps the fighter from continuing on was done by legal means?
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
No, it's very true.
Well, this was in 2009.
2009.
Hey, see,
okay.
Right.
So, guys, what I wanted you guys to hear, though, was that John said he told the commission to overturn it. Then John also, and the commission told him no. John also went to the commission for me to have my headbutt thing overturned, and
that didn't work either, did it?
So if there's a lesson to be learned here, do not have John go on your behalf.
John is definitely not going to help you.
Do not have John go to the commission on your behalf, because it just doesn't work.
It has worked many times.
Just not for people.
Many times, just not for you.
Just not for me. It's just horrible. Look, I don't think John has a case at all, and you're making it sound like there's no case whatsoever. Just too much time has passed, and I think I'm glad the rule is gone now. Like I said, I'm really excited about the grounded opponent rule, so there's a clear cut. We can finally get all the commissions to agree at least on these rules, and that was the biggest one, was the downed opponent, because some Some states were like, no, both hands. Some states were no, one hand. Some states were no, a knee and a hand, or it was all this like stuff. There was none of the states could have agreed. Finally, there's one now where they're saying how they actually want it to be done. And I'm excited to see how these commissions decide to all line up now. So there's no confusion. Fighters can train one specific way to make it as easy as possible. And when they go overseas, the UFC normally brings, right?
Yeah, everywhere the UFC goes is the unified rules.
Yep. Because they bring their own judges and their own, normally their own judges and normally their own referees and stuff, right?
Well, they'll bring judges from certain commissions and things like that. That's not right. The UFC.
I didn't mean it that way. Yeah. Sorry, I meant like one from New York, one from Vegas, one from California, wherever. Yep. Makes sense. I mean, overall, you're happy with this. You had a lot of input on helping to get this changed, correct?
My farm needs the earth, the air, and the water. I get my energy going on Element Electrolyte Drink Mix. Clean, good-tasting energy that feeds me like I feed my plants and animals. And after a long day on the tractor, when it's time to shoot the podcast, I drink Element so that I can stay energized and stay salty. Let's get it on. I had some input on getting it changed and stuff, and it's working out. There's one more thing to be changed, and that's a addition to the fouls. Mm-hmm. As far as accidental and intentional are the two things that we have. And we have situations where you just take a look, and the way what happened with the fighter is, he threw it, but he didn't mean to foul. You can tell that, but are you going to say it's intentional? Well, as soon as you say it's intentional and the fight can't go on, you got to disqualify him. So we're trying to do something with another level we call reckless actions. And okay, all right, I want you to think about this. Michel Pereira, right? Is he a fun fighter to watch?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's entertaining, exciting, and he does those stupid ass backflips all the time. And not one referee has called it the right way yet, but it should be that as soon as he lands on someone, that's a stomp. And, if that person can't go on, you would have to, you got to say that he intentionally did the backflip. There's no way that was unintentional. So he intentionally did the backflip. He lands on the opponent. That's a stomp. The guy cannot continue. I now have to disqualify Michel Pereira, and he kind of had that when he fought Diego Sanchez. It was a different situation, but he got DQ'd. And so you look and you say, is Pereira trying to foul his opponent? No, he's not trying to foul. He's trying to be exciting, and he is basically doing something that is a reckless action. So with that, if I have the reckless action, if the fight is within, the first 2 rounds of a 3-round fight, it could either be a disqualification or it could be a no contest. So you could call it as no contest. If it goes into the third round of a 3-round fight or the 4th round of a 5-round fight, then it could be a disqualification, or it would go to a technical decision, meaning it goes to the cards. But the referee also will have the power of taking points from the fighter if he so desires before the scorecards are tabulated.
I think if you do that, you just DQ'd.
Just got you all confused, right?
No, just if you do that, you're DQ'd. Get out. That's how I feel about the 2 fingers in the fence. You put 2 fingers in the fence, point deduction. If I got to warn you again, DQ. Done deal.
Boy, you'd be a hated sumbitch.
It doesn't matter. You meant to do it. Don't tell me. If you held it longer than a split second, you know what you're doing. I mean,
dude, you held the fence all the time.
I never, ever.
Oh, do you want me to show you pictures?
Yes. Pull them up, John. Pull them up. I never once held the fence, ever. I can't recall. I can't recall. I was never
How about trying to get up from someone? You're putting your hand on the fence and your fingers just kind of go through it.
Nope.
Just kind of.
No, I was more of a cage walker with my back. I never really used my arm. I actually used my elbow. So I dug my elbow into it and then like pushed down kind of. That's more of what I did. I didn't really never grab the fence, but never, I don't know. All right. Well, hey, good rule changes are going to makes for a lot more exciting fights. I'm really looking forward to how they use that 12-6 elbow now from the standing position. That should be fun. Pumped for that. So more to come.
All kinds of stuff happening. The sport moves on.